Florida native and a seasoned realtor, I've helped a lot of people move here to Southwest Florida from many other states. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 biggest mistakes that my customers have voiced regrets about when they made the move to Florida. So let's get right into it. We've all heard that age-old phrase, location, location, location. Well, location remains one of, if not the most important factor when buying real estate. You can change a lot of things about a property, but you can't change where it's located. So the number one biggest mistake that people make when moving to Florida is buying a home in the wrong location. And if you haven't already decided which Florida city is right for you, I suggest that you do your research, narrow down your choices, and then spend a few days exploring so you really get to know that city. And if you're planning to move to Southwest Florida, check out my video, Venice versus Sarasota. You might find it helpful. Florida offers a wide range of neighborhood options, and here's where many people make that great big mistake and choose the wrong location. When buying a home, I believe that the lifestyle offered by the neighborhood is actually more important than the house itself. So let's talk about the most important influencing factor when choosing the right neighborhood, and that has to be deed restrictions. So what exactly are deed restrictions? These are the additional rules and regulations put in place by the Homeowners Association that go beyond the county or the city ordinances. These rules can be minimal and just enough to ensure that the homeowners maintain their property in such a way that preserves the property values within that neighborhood. But they can also be a little bit extreme. Planned developments typically have deed restrictions, and the best example of this type of neighborhood is going to be the new construction communities that have been popping up all over the state of Florida. There's usually some type of shared amenities that can be as simple as just a neighborhood pool or as elaborate as these large clubhouses with resort-style pools, exercise facilities, bocce ball, pickleball, tennis courts, and some even have a full-time activities director. You can expect to pay higher homeowners association fees to correlate with those amenities. So these fees are going to be used to maintain the common areas, and they may include lawn care so that the community grounds always look pristine. Golf communities are a good example because golf is such a big deal in Florida. Our tropical weather can essentially allow you to play year-round. So golf communities are often gated and they have a private or semi-private course, and they tend to include country club facilities. And here's where things might get a little tricky. Depending on how the golf and country club are structured, you may have an additional fee for those amenities. And there's a few neighborhoods where becoming a member of the country club isn't mandatory and it's an option, but more often than not, it's going to be a mandatory annual membership to the golf club. And that can range from social to full golf membership, depending on what you choose. You also have to be aware of a required contribution upon initiation, and this upfront cost can range greatly and goes up in correlation with the exclusiveness of the club. For some communities, we're talking about a significant chunk of change. And if you're an avid golfer accustomed to the country club lifestyle, you'll be delighted by the options Florida has to offer, and you'll feel right at home here. But if you're new to the game or an occasional golfer thinking that you're going to move to Florida and play golf every day, give that some consideration. One of the most common reasons that I move people out of golf course communities is because their level of playtime did not match the additional fees that they had to pay. And this can be a rather expensive mistake. 55 plus communities are another great example of a deed restricted neighborhood. If you're retiring or close to retirement, then a 55 plus community can be a fantastic option. They offer a lifestyle that's usually completely maintenance free, leaving you more time to enjoy those awesome amenities and take advantage of the full activity schedule that these communities have to offer. And yes, despite the age restriction, the grandkids are allowed to come and visit, but there's rules in place, like they must be accompanied by you in all the common areas, such as the community pool, and maybe there's a limit on how many days they can stay, things like that. Most of my customers have really liked the freedom and the security that they get from the 55 plus community. But if you prefer the energy of being around younger people, this definitely wouldn't be the right lifestyle for you. Most golf 55 plus communities, condominium associations, and some deed restricted neighborhoods have very strict rules. There's lots of rules. Rules about renting the property, minimum lease length, how many times per year you can rent the property. So if you're planning to be in Florida part-time and possibly renting the home, check on those lease restrictions before you purchase. Rules about pets, if they're even allowed, how many you can have, how big they can be. There can be rules about vehicles, such as where you can park or how big the truck can be, and definitely no loud motorcycles. Some communities even have rules about holiday decorations. There are also rules about changes that you can make to your home's exterior or to the landscape, or anything that you want to do from the outside has to be submitted to the board for the approval. The Homeowners Association will also create the annual budget for the community. As a group, they'll decide what repairs and maintenance items are important, and then they'll vote on them. This process often creates a little bit of friction amongst varying opinions. So it's super important to read through the association documents so you fully understand exactly what you're getting yourself into. And there are also non-deed restricted neighborhoods. And these neighborhoods give you the freedom to do whatever you want as long as it doesn't violate any of the city or county ordinances. And that includes things like boat or RV parking, sheds, maybe a workshop if there's room. But be warned, it also gives your neighbors the same freedom. And without some restrictions, you may find that some homes don't exactly get maintained to your same standards. So really give rules, or the lack of rules, deep consideration before making a move. I often help people sell their home just so that they can escape some aspect of their neighborhood. Deed restrictions can vary greatly and are unique to every neighborhood. And once you decide what type of rules are right for you, a good realtor who knows the area can help you identify the right fit so that you only move one time. So if this information has been helpful, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so that you're notified every time there's a new video. So moving on, the second biggest mistake people make when they move to Florida: home size. Many people make a dramatic downsize into a condo from their large northern home, and then they quickly find themselves feeling just a bit claustrophobic. Or they purchase an enormous home with enough guest rooms for all of their adult children and grandchildren to visit all at once, which almost never happens. And for those of you who actually do get a lot of company after you move to Florida, that big house might make them feel a little bit too comfortable to the point that they overstay their welcome during those winter months when they're escaping the snow. So take note of the rooms that you use in your house right now. That's exactly what you need. Chances are you're going to use the same rooms in your new house, no more, no less. If you're looking for a lifestyle change to maintenance-free living, a small condo is not the only option. Florida offers attached villas, paired villas, and standalone villas, all maintenance-free and many with attached garages and a bit more privacy than a condominium can offer. So villas are single-story and they live a lot more like a house, but they relieve you of the exterior maintenance and daily upkeep. So don't get me wrong, I think condo life can be wonderful, and it's definitely a great stepping stone for those part-timers slowly making the transition to Florida, but it's often a dramatic change for those moving from a larger home. The third reason may seem kind of funny, but the third biggest mistake that my customers have regretted when they made the move to Florida was paying for their furniture to be shipped here. The cost to move has become astronomical, but the real issue here is that the furniture looks beautiful in their northern home, but often ends up a little bit heavy and out of place here in Florida. Over time, many people have ended up replacing a large percentage of the furniture that they paid dearly to have moved. And not everyone in Florida decorates their home with seashells and pastel colors, but make sure your furniture that you decide to bring can adapt to your new tropical surroundings. And a little bonus tip, Florida doesn't have basements or attics, and it can get super hot, so you don't keep much in the attic. So keep that in mind when you're loading up that moving truck. If you don't use it and you don't need it, don't bring it because you won't have any place to put it. So don't forget, if you're moving to the Sarasota, Venice area, I'm always happy to help. So just contact me. I'll leave my information below.